I will start my presentation. As Jeff mentioned, I think for me sometimes it's difficult. I used to be a master black belt for several years and a practitioner of Six Sigma. And I used to speak then for 4 weeks teaching black belts and coaching them and mentoring them. And I think for me it's very difficult to bring this all down into just a 20-minute presentation. But I'll start with what used to be the most boring slide in my 4 weeks of training, right? When I used to do Six Sigma training and train black belts, this was the most boring slide. And when I used to share it with people, I used to show them and say, okay, you need to have the knowledge and skills, you need to have the tools, you need to have the mindset in order to make change and continuous improvement. And it seems quite simple. But the reality really hit me one day when I was at the zoo, right? I took my family to the zoo in Omaha, Nebraska. And as we were there at the zoo, I was reading about a story about an orangutan. The orangutan's name was Fu Manchu. And he was there at the zoo, and he was always escaping out of the cage, right? In fact, it got to the point where the head zookeeper was going to fire some of his assistants because he felt they were being careless. He felt they were maybe leaving the cage open, right? He felt that maybe they weren't locking the cage properly. But what they found, one day they were observing, and Fu Manchu went over to the cage. He put a wire inside the lock, and he started playing with it until the point he was able to unlock the cage. He unlocked the cage, he got out, started running around the park, right? Started running around the zoo, and the other orangutans followed after him. And it occurred to me as I was standing there with my family and thinking about this and really understanding what does this mean about process improvement and about process change, right? In order for him to get out of the cage, in order for him to somehow do something different, right, he had to have these three things. He had to have a tool. It was a piece of wire that he had broken off the cage around the lights up at the top, right? He had to somehow have the skills and the knowledge to do it. They never taught him how to be a lock picker, right? They never taught him how to open the lock. So somehow he had to go and he had to figure this out on his own, right? And that's where the mindset comes in. I know Jeff mentioned mindset several times, and I think this is really important, right? We need to have the mindset. The people need to have the mindset that they want to change, that they want to get out of the cage, right? I don't mean all of your people are orangutans, right?